Hello friends, good morning to all the students. Welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 19th and 20th of September 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students, you can download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, you can log in with your email ID and then click on this crack current affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low, but we are covering 90 to 95% of that current affairs which can come in every type of exam. This is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily you will see three things. One is the detail, question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, we are providing you three things. One is the detail, second is the question and answer format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next is the monthly section, and we are providing you four most important PDFs. One is the detailed current affair, question and answer format, best 100 current affairs, and the pocket PDF. It means the 2-liner and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise these current affairs in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are also providing topic-wise current affair. We are providing you 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. It means if you want to cover one topic related all the news just from single PDF, then you can use these type of topic-wise PDF. If you are a banking student, then we are providing three things. One is the detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section. But all these three things are only related to banking and economy, and you can attempt this quiz on monthly basis on our application. If you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. And we are also providing detailed budget and economic survey. Also expected question and answer will be provided to you so that you can revise again and again this budget and economic survey. If you are a state student, it means if you are appearing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing state current affairs and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link, log in with your email ID, then click on this crack current affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But if you're a new student, you're just starting your preparation, then subscribe for 2 years. This is my personal advice because there is no price, basically very low price difference between 1 year as well as on the 2-year subscription. But on the both subscription, we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us or you can contact us on this number or email ID. So let's start today's current affair, that is 19th and 20th of September 2021. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. You can also join our Telegram group from the description box link. There is the first question in the most important section. What is the name of the largest riverine protected area in Europe, also known as Amazon of Europe, declared by UNESCO? So guys, the most important thing under this question or the keyword here is the Amazon of Europe. And this is a combination of three rivers in Europe, and this is Mura, Drava and Danube. So answer of this question is B. It means the name of the biosphere reserve is Mura, Drava, Danube Biosphere Reserve. So recently UNESCO, it means United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, declared Europe's Mura, Drava and the Danube the largest riverine protected area on the continent known as Amazon of Europe as the world first 5-country biosphere reserve. It means this Amazon of Europe or this Mura, Drava or Danube lies in the 5 countries of the Europe. This is again very important because examiner can ask these 5 countries. And you can see here UNESCO declares world's first 5-country biosphere reserve and it is also known as Amazon of Europe. This question is very, very important. And you can see here world's first 5-country biosphere reserve. And now with this recognition, these 5 countries are mandated to jointly protect and revitalize the area and boost sustainable business practices. And these 5 countries are, one is Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary and Serbia. So these are the 5 countries. You have to remember these 5 countries because these are very, very important. Now the question arises why it is declared as the protected biosphere reserve, because it has Europe's highest dynasty of breeding white-tailed eagle. So you have to remember why it is famous, because it is for white-tailed eagle. It has also endangered species such as you can say little tern is there, and black stork is there, black stork is there, and otters are also there, and even it is also an important annual resting and the feeding place for more than 250,000 migratory birds. That's why it is declared as the protected biosphere reserve in the Europe, which is also known as Amazon of Europe. And three rivers are covered, and you can guess these three rivers by the name. It is Mura, Drava, and Danube. You can remember these vital information because this is the most important question. And you can also remember about UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, and in 2021 this UNESCO declared as the International Year of Creative Economy and the Sustainable Development. Remember, creative economy and sustainable development is known as 2021 year, and this organization was established in 1945. Its director general is Audrey Azoulay, and its headquarters is in Paris, France. So remember these things, very very important. And you can also remember Howe Sound Biosphere Reserve. It is situated in Canada, and this Martinique Biosphere Reserve, it is in France. And next is Kolsai Calderi Biosphere Reserve. This biosphere reserve is situated in Kazakhstan. So you can also remember because these are also recently declared by UNESCO as the biosphere reserve all over world. So remember, Howe Sound Biosphere Reserve is in Canada. Next is Martinique Biosphere Reserve is in France, and Kolsai Calderi Biosphere Reserve is in Kazakhstan. So now we are moving to next question. Who has been appointed as the Sustainable Development Goal Advocate by the United Nations? So United Nations Secretary General recently, that is Antonio Guterres, has appointed 17 Sustainable Development Goals advocates under the 76th General Session Assembly. And SDG advocates will work on the key issues like climate action, bridging the digital divide, gender equality, and the promotion of the rights of the children. So answer of this question is Kailash Satyarthi. So D is the answer. Remember, D is the answer. And Kailash Satyarthi is very famous child right activist, and he received the Nobel Prize in 2014. And why he received the Nobel Prize in 2014? Because he was the founder of Bachpan Bachao Andolan. And his role as SDG advocate is to focus on protecting and promoting the rights of children around the world. And with this organization, that is Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So remember, Kailash Satyarthi, who won the Nobel Prize in 2014, appointed as one of the SDG advocate by the United Nations. Very simple question. And you can also see here the picture of Kailash Satyarthi, who is appointed as the advocate in the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. So you can also see here, SDG advocates will work on the key issues like climate action, bridging the digital divide, gender equality, and the promotion of the rights of children. And Kailash Satyarthi basically focus on this part, the promotion of the rights of children. And they will use their influence to reach new constituencies to act and keep the promises of SDG for the people and the planet. And remember about SDG, 2015 to 2030 is the timeline of SDG. We have to achieve all the 17 goals by the year of 2030. So remember these things. But you can also remember the other, you can say, appointments. Shambhunath Srivastava, he was recently appointed as the chairman of Indian Federation of United Nation Assembly. United Nation Association, not Assembly. I am repeating again, Indian Federation of United Nation Association. Abdullah Shahid, very important appointment because he became the president of 76th session of United Nations General Assembly. 76th session of United Nations General Assembly. Next is Rebecca Greenspan, and Rebecca recently appointed as Secretary General of United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. It means UNCTAD. And Rebecca appointed as the Secretary General of this organization. So remember all these three appointments, again very important, and the most important appointment here is the Abdullah Shahid. Moving to next question, all the most important questions we covered, but we are moving to very important question section. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and you can join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Who has assumed the additional charge as the chairman and managing director of National Small Industries Corporation Limited? So remember this organization, it is National Small Industries Corporation Limited, especially focus on the MSMEs. And who assumed as the additional charge? So answer of this question is very simple. Answer is Alka Nanchia Arora. So answer of this question is B. B is the answer. You can also see here the picture. Alka Nanchia Arora has assumed the additional charge of the post of the chairman and managing director of National Small Industries Corporation. And She is an Indian Defense Account Service officer of 1991 batch, and she assumed the additional charge. And she is currently serving as the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. But you can also remember about this organization, this National Small Industries Corporation, and it is a mini Ratna under the Government of India, and it was established in 1995. Its headquarters is in New Delhi, and you know now Chairman and Managing Director is Alka Arora. But you can also remember other appointments. Rekha Sharma, she was recently reappointed as the Chairman of National Commission for Women. Next is Dr. Tajender M. Bhasin. He was recently appointed as the chairman of advisory board which was appointed by RBI for banking and financial frauds. Hitendra Dave, very important appointment. He was appointed as the CEO of HSBC Bank India, Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corporation, India. So remember these appointments. Move into next question. Dushanbe Declaration was recently adopted by which organization members? So again, very important. If you know this Dushanbe is the capital of which country, then you can answer very easily, because the organization chairmanship of 2021 lies with that country. So Dushanbe is basically the capital of Tajikistan. That's why Tajikistan chairmanship of 2021, SCO chairmanship of 2021 lies with Tajikistan. So answer of this question is A. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addressed this 21st meeting of the Council of Head of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization that was held for the first time through hybrid format in Dushanbe, which is the capital of Tajikistan, and SCO chairmanship of 2021 lies with Tajikistan. So very simple question. And during this meeting, the SCO member countries adopted this Dushanbe Declaration to promote counter-terrorism and stability in the Afghanistan. What is Dushanbe Declaration? It is to promote counter-terrorism and peace in Afghanistan. So remember these. So you can see here Prime Minister Modi here, Vladimir Lenin is here. So Russia is also the member of SCO, so you can also remember. And Dushanbe Declaration is to promote counter-terrorism and stability in Afghanistan. And all the countries basically will enhancing joint efforts to prevent terror financing and suppressing its spread across the globe. And SCO member states expressed support for Afghanistan as an independent, neutral, united, democratic and peaceful state free of terrorism, war and drugs, and promotion of culture and heritage among people to develop a tourism environment among the SCO member countries. And it will also support an inclusive government in Afghanistan with representation from all ethnic groups and the minorities. So you have to remember what is Dushanbe Declaration, and you have to remember the keyword. It is to promote counter-terrorism and stability in the Afghanistan. And remember about SCO. SCO was you can say headquarters in Beijing, and its 2021 chairmanship lies with Tajikistan, and total member countries are 8. Basically, it was established by 6 countries. One is you can say China, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Uzbekistan. So China, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Uzbekistan. These 6 countries form this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But India and Pakistan joined in 2017. So remember, India joined in 2017, and its current Secretary General is Vladimir Norov. Moving to next question. India is said to have the world's largest expressway by the year of 2022, or you can say March 2022. What is the name of this expressway? So very simple question. Name of this expressway is Delhi Mumbai Expressway Highway. So answer of this question is C, Delhi Mumbai Expressway Highway or Express Highway. So world longest expressway, which is Delhi Mumbai Express Highway, its total length is 1380 kilometer. It is the longest expressway all over the world, and total development cost is almost 10 lakh crore. It means 9,80,000 crore rupees. This is the total development cost of this project, and it will reduce the travel time between Delhi to Mumbai to 12 to 13 hours. It means it will reduce so much time. And this will be India's first expressway to have helipads and fully equipped trauma centers at every 100 kilometer. Remember, it will be the India's first expressway to have helipads and fully equipped trauma centers at every 100 kilometer. And you all know who is the Union Minister of Road and Transport. It is Nitin Gadkari ji. Nitin Gadkari ji constituency is Nagpur, Maharashtra. Moving to next question. How many villages will be covered under the Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana across the country? So remember the keyword, Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana, and how many villages will be covered? 36,000 villages will be covered. So answer of this question is C. So very simple question. Union Tribal Minister Arjun Mundaji announced to start Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana covering 36,000 villages across the country. And you can also see here, this is Arjun Mundaji and this is Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana, and it will cover 36,000 villages across the country, and villages with 50% of tribal population will be given as a priority. And remember about Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana, it was implemented since 2009-10 when Prime Minister was Manmohan Singh, and it is to enable an area-based development approach for the scheduled caste person. And 1700 tribal villages in Assam will be covered under the Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana and converted into the modern villages. And under this scheme, a total of 21 lakh rupees is allocated for every new village selected. And out of 21 lakh, 20 lakh is a gap filling component, and 1 lakh is for the administrative expenses. And you can also remember in 2018 the scheme was revised to bring focus on important and the critical monitoring socio-economic indicators, like 10 indicators were also added under this scheme, like drinking and water and sanitation, education, health, social security, etc. So these things were also added under this Prime Minister Adarsh Gram Yojana. Remember, it was started in 2009-10 by the Manmohan Singh government, or you can say the Congress government. So how many villages? 36,000. And remember, Arjun Mundaji is the Union Minister of Tribal Affairs, and the constituency is Khunti. Khunti is in Jharkhand. Moving to next question, which company signed memorandum of understanding with ISRO to use the expertise and advanced facilities of ISRO? So I am talking about one of the very important space startup, and name of this space startup is Agnikul Cosmos. So answer of this question is D. So the agreement would provide access to expertise and advanced facilities of ISRO for the development and testing of space launch vehicles. So you can see here, Agnikul Cosmos signs MOU to use the ISRO facilities to develop and launch vehicles. And you can also see here, Agnikul Cosmos, and it enables Agnikul to get the access of advanced technology and the various testing facilities of ISRO centers, such as testing and qualification of single piece 3D printing, semi cryo engine and the other system. So in simple word, you can say that Agnikul Cosmos now onwards can get the expertise and advanced facilities of ISRO. And Department of State recently signed similar kind of memorandum of understanding with Hyderabad based Skyroot Aerospace for access to ISRO facilities and expertise towards the development and testing of subsystem and system of the space vehicles. So you can remember all these things. So now ISRO signed MOU with the two companies. First they signed with the Skyroot Aerospace, now they signed with the Agnikul Cosmos. And you can also remember about ISRO. ISRO's founder is Vikram Sarabhai, but it was founded in 1969. This year is very important, asked in so many exams. Headquarters is in Bengaluru, Karnataka, and director is K. Sivan. Next is, who addressed the G33 from Indian side? So there is a new group. I think many students are listening this G33 first time. So this is basically agriculture group, developing countries agriculture group. Remember, G33 is related to agriculture. And from Indian side, it is not addressed by Narendra Singh Tomar ji, because I think many students are thinking that he is currently the Union Minister of Agriculture, so that's why he attended. No, the answer of this question is Piyush Goyal. So D is the answer. So you can also see here, Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, addressed the G33 virtual informal ministerial meeting. And G33 joint ministerial statement adopted in the meeting to resolve trade related issues with World Trade Organization, especially related to the agricultural product. So you have to remember what is the G33. It is a virtual informal ministerial meeting organized by which country? It is organized by Indonesia. And main objective is to discuss the agriculture priorities issues of G33. And you have to remember, the grouping is called Friends of Special Products in Agriculture. Remember, G33 is known as Friends of Special Products in Agriculture. And total member countries are not 33, basically total member countries are 48. And it was established in the Cancun Ministerial Conference. Cancun Ministerial Conference and in the Doha round of World Trade Organization in 2003. So remember, G33 is a new group for you. So you have to remember, total member countries are not 33, total member countries are 48. Total member countries are 48. And G33 has proposed special rules for developing countries at World Trade Organization negotiations, like allowing them to continue to restrict access to their agricultural market. So this is the World Trade Organization principles. So remember, what is G33, what is the work of G33, and from Indian side it is attended by Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal ji. Now we are moving to next question. BHEL or Bharat Heavyweight Electrical Limited launched India's first high ash coal to methanol conversion plant at which place? So again, very important question. We already covered this question when we asked about the state. Now we are asking exact place. So exact place is Hyderabad. So if the examiner is asking about state, then answer of this question is Telangana. And Bharat Heavyweight Electrical Limited has developed India's first high ash Indian coal to methanol conversion plant in Hyderabad, Telangana under the pilot basis. And the plant is developed using indigenous technology to promote the adoption of clean technology, because methanol can be used as a fuel, as a clean energy. And methanol produced through the plant will be blended with the crude oil to reduce emission through the transportation fuel, because maximum pollution or maximum you can say degraded environment is due to vehicle pollution. So we can use methanol and we can use this methanol with a blended with the crude oil, so that we can reduce the emission through transportation fuel. And remember about Bharat Heavyweight Electrical Limited, it was established in 1964. Who is the chairman and managing director is Nalin Singhal. Nalin Singhal. Moving to next question, but you can also see here Bharat Heavyweight Electrical Limited. Which company partnered with Niti Aayog to provide learning material to school students, and they will provide all the you can say very important material to the school students, and it is free of cost and it will be provided by Byju's. So answer of this question is B. So you can see here Niti Aayog and Byju's to provide learning material to the school students, and it will provide free access to the company's premium learning material. It means Byju's premium learning material or the resources to the class students of 6th to 12th and in government schools across 112 aspirational districts. So you have to remember the most important thing here, aspirational districts. Total 115 aspirational districts were identified across 28 states, at least one from the each state. And at the Government of India level, the program is anchored by Niti Aayog. Aspirational district program is anchored by Niti Aayog. And in addition, individual ministers have assumed responsibility to drive the progress of the districts. And the objective of the program is to monitor the real-time progress of the aspirational district. And this aspirational district program is based on 49 indicators from the 5 identified areas, which focuses closely on the improving health and nutrition, education, you can say health, education, water resources, agriculture, financial inclusion. These are the 5 principles under the 49 indicators, and total 115 aspirational districts, total states are 28, and it is anchored by Niti Aayog. So 112 aspirational districts are selected, under which free resources will be provided by Byju's for the class 6 to 12th. And it comprises 2 components. First is the Byju's Career Plus program. So you can just remember, under this program, Byju's tied up with the Akash Institute. Akash Institute, which is again very premier institute, and Byju's are offering free classes like virtual classes to 3,000 meritorious students of class 11th and class 12th for engineering and the medical entrance examination. So it is Byju's Career Plus program for 11th and 12th students, and they will select 3,000 meritorious students with the help of the Akash Institute, and they will provide free classes for engineering and the medical entrance examination. Next is the voluntary initiative for the children. So this is the another component, and it is voluntary initiative for children of school going age between 6 to 12th. Free coaching classes from the best faculties will be provided, and under it social impact initiative or education for all will be focused. And you can also remember that Byju recently acquired 100% stake in the K-12 coding. Remember, K-12 coding. This is United States of America based company, and the objective is to provide every child a strong foundation in the computer science, programming and the critical thinking skills. And Byju's has expanded its reach around 60 million students and over 1 lakh school from the Thinker's existing global user base. So you have to remember this Thinker is a name of the company of United States of America, and it is a computer science based company or providing the computer skills to the students. So remember, this is acquired by Baiju. And you can also remember very important thing, because Baiju in 2021 acquired so many companies. Like recently they acquired GradeUp, very important education platform. So they also acquired this. Now we are moving to the next question. Which state Sirara Khong chili and the Tamneng Long orange have received the geographical indication tag? So you have to remember the keyword here, Sirara Khong. Sirara Khong basically is the name of a village in that state, so that's why the name is Sirara Khong chili. And next is Tameng Long orange. So again, very famous variety of this state, and this state is Manipur. So answer of this question is A. So you can see here, famous Sirara Khong chili and Tameng Long orange of Manipur received the geographical indication tag. And this Sirara Khong chili is also known as Hathei chili. And Hathei festival is very famous in the Manipur. Hathei is very famous festival of Manipur, and it is a chili festival of Manipur. And this is found in Manipur's Ukrul district. Ukrul district, especially the students for Manipur, you have to remember. And Tameng Long orange widely grown across the Zeliangrong Naga dominated district of the Manipur. But you have to remember about geographical indication tag. This is a sign used on the products that have a specific geographical origin and possesses quality or a reputation that are due to that origin. And geographical indication are a part of intellectual property rights that comes under the Paris Convention, for the protection of industrial property. And in India, geographical indication is done by the Geographical Indications of Goods and Registration and Protection Act of 1999. Remember, it comes under the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection of 1999. So the main objective of geographical indication tag helps the genuine producers to avail optimum price for the premium goods even in the competitive market. But you can also remember about Manipur. Manipur governor is La Ganeshan. He was recently appointed, La Ganeshan, and chief minister is N. Biren Singh. Moving to next question. Who launched its new mobile application which is known as Pragati for exclusive performance analysis by the development officers? That how the agents are working, how the policies are sold by these agents. So that's why this application was launched. This is known as Pragati, and this is launched by Life Insurance Corporation. So answer of this question is B. So LIC launched this mobile application which is known by Pragati, which will be used by developmental officer, and they will use this for the real-time data. Developmental officers can monitor the activities of their LIC agents. And Pragati stands for Performance Review Application Growth and Trend Indicator. So this is the meaning of Pragati. And by this you can say it is performance review application, so the developmental officers can monitor the activities of the LIC agents. And Pragati has provisions for real-time performance analysis by the analyzing various information related to the premium collection, policy activation, etc. And Pragati has provisions for calculators to measure the cost ratio also. But you have to remember, LIC recently launched artificial intelligence based application which is known as Jeevan Sakshya. So you have to also remember this keyword, Jeevan Sakshya. It is an artificial intelligence technology based application which was launched by LIC that offers retired employees for online submission of the life certificate for the retired, or you can say for the pension officers. And LIC individual pension plan for staff pensioners can submit their digital existence life certificate through this application. So it is for the life certificate. Remember, Jeevan Sakshya. And recently LIC also launched the Anand application. It is Atmanirbhar Agent new business digital application, mobile application for the agents of the LIC, so that onboarding can be digitalized. And LIC also launched LIC Mitra. It is a chatbot of LIC that is available in English, Hindi and Marathi. Currently serves 50,000 daily inquiries. And there is one program which is also launched by that is known as Bachat Plus or Saving Plus. Bachat is a Hindi word, and in English it is known as saving. Bachat Plus is a non-linked individual saving plan, was launched by LIC with a minimum basic assured sum of rupees 1 lakh and a maturity period of 5 years. So Bachat Plus, you can say Anand application, and LIC Mitra, and Jeevan Sakshya and Pragati, all are the initiatives of LIC. And you can also remember about LIC. LIC was established in 1956 and its chairman is M.R. Kumar. M.R. Kumar. Moving to next question. It is from picture. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav launched Rail Kaushal Vikas Yojana, a program under the Prime Minister or the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So it is Railway Kaushal Vikas Yojana. It is to train, you can say, youth so that they can employ in the railway sector. So the Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, Ministry of Railway, launched Rail Kaushal Vikas Yojana under the Prime Minister Kaushal Vikas Yojana from the Rail Bhavan, New Delhi. And the program main emphasized empowering youth like 50,000 candidates with the industry relevant skills over a period of 3 years through 75 railway training institutes. It means, in simple word, you can say that 50,000 candidates will be trained and they will be provided with the industry relevant skills so that maximum to maximum skills can be imparted, and all the skills will be imparted within 3 years through 75 railway training institutes. After that they can be employed and it will be free of cost. This is very genuine thing. This is free of cost and the training will be provided in 4 trades like electrician, you can say welder, machinist and the fitter, so that the railway can use this type of the services in the railway department. And you can also remember the program curriculum has been developed by Banaras Locomotive Works in Uttar Pradesh, and this is also the nodal agency of this scheme. And this program is a part of 75 year of independence or Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which will also contribute to the Skill India competition. That's why total 75 railway training institutes are selected. And the selection of candidates between 18 to 35 years for the training will be based upon the marks in the matriculation. On the 10th marks they will be selected, but the age should be in between 18 to 35. And the selected candidates will be awarded certificate in the allotted trade by the Vadodara, Gujarat based National Rail and Transportation Institute upon completion, or you can say upon conclusion. So you have to remember about Ministry of Railway. Ashwini Vaishnav, he was recently appointed as Union Minister of Railway. His constituency is Odisha. He is currently the member of Rajya Sabha. And who is the CEO, or you can say chairman of Railway Board? It is Suneet Sharma. Moving to next question. So all the most important questions and very important questions over. Now we are moving to important section. Like this video, share this video and subscribe this channel and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Which organization released a report which is known as Taking India's Life Sciences to the Global Stage? So it means we have to focus on the life sciences, or you can say biotechnology, so that we can become very competitive in the global stage. So answer of this question is Confederation of Indian Industries. Answer of this question is C. So Confederation of Indian Industry virtually organized the 3rd Life Sciences Conclave 2021 on the theme which is also Taking India's Life Sciences to the Global Stage. This is also the theme. This is also the name of the report. And the report provided measures to grow the biosimilars market from $550 million. Currently, it is a $550 million market. Now we have to achieve $5 to $6 billion market target. So this is the target of this bio life sciences. And it recommended 3 points of action. Like one is the need for an innovative mindset to action. Second, transform from cost competitiveness to cost leadership. And third is the restaining the image of Indian-made pharmaceuticals. And India will become $150 billion by the 2025 market in the biotechnology. So this is the target you have to remember. $150 billion by the year of 2025, and it is in the biotechnology market. So just remember this question, otherwise this is not important. Moving to next, it is Japan Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, who resigned earlier, and he basically was appointed as the Prime Minister in the last year of September. So he took over as the Prime Minister of Japan, succeeding Shinzo Abe, who resigned in the September 2020, and after that he was appointed Yoshihide Suga. So you can also remember that Yoshihide Suga is the leader of Japan's Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, party can be asked, Liberal Democratic Party. And the Parliament of Japan is also known as the National Diet of Japan, and it is a bicameral legislature consisted of a lower house like Lok Sabha, and it is known as House of Representative, total 465 members in the House of Representative, and in the upper house, the House of Councillor, who has 245 members like India Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And Japan's emperor name is Naruhito. Naruhito is currently 126th emperor of Japan, and currency is Tokyo, capital is Tokyo, and currency is yen. So moving to next, it is again from picture, renowned astrophysicist Thanu Padambanam passed away. So remember just the name Thanu Padmanabhan, Padam Shri awardee, a noted physicist and cosmologist. Remember the name is Thanu. And he was born in Kerala, it means he belongs to Kerala. And in 2007, he received the Padam Shri. He received Padam Shri award in the science and engineering field. And he was also ranked 24th amongst top scientists in the world by the Stanford University for his research in the theoretical physics. So that's why this person is very famous. So that's why he received the Padam Shri in 2007. So now we are moving to the one-liner important point, and here is the first point. RBI imposed rupees 5 lakh fine on the Kuppam Cooperative Town Bank over the regulatory violation. You have to just remember that this bank belongs to Andhra Pradesh. Just remember this bank belongs to Andhra Pradesh, and they were fined 5 lakh rupees over the violation of the provisions of the direction issued by the RBI. But you have to remember one important thing here, that the penalty which was imposed in exercise of the power vested in the RBI under the Section 30 of the Payments and Settlement Act of 2007. This is very important because so many banks recently fined. So it comes under the Section 30 of the Payments and Settlement Act of 2007. Next, TMB. TMB stands for Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank. Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank of Tamil Nadu launched so many initiatives on the 100th anniversary of this bank. So the bank recently launched TMB Mobile Digi Lobby to support its customers with banking services and a mobile vaccination drive to create awareness on the COVID-19 vaccination. So just remember, this is Tamil Nadu based bank and it was established in 1920 when. Next is Algeria's former president Abdel Aziz Bouteflika passed away. So you can just read this name. So this is not so much important, but you have to remember he was the former president of Algeria. Named is Abdel Aziz Bouteflika, and he passed away recently. He served as the president nearly about 20 years of Algeria from 1999 to 2019, and he resigned in 2019 and he became Algeria's longest serving president. He has also served as the first foreign minister of Algeria. So remember the name, it is Abdel Aziz. Next is World Bamboo Day 2021, celebrated on 18th of September, and it is to create awareness about bamboo, a non-wood forest product, especially in the northeastern states, which is considered green gold. Green gold. This green gold word given to bamboo was given by Arun Jaitley ji. Arun Jaitley, the former finance minister of India, the late former finance minister of India, to promote the new cultivation of bamboo for the new industries across globe. And the day also aims to ensure the sustainable utilization of bamboo. And the message of World Bamboo Day is hashtag plant bamboo. Plant bamboo. It is time to plant bamboo. So this is the message. And the World Bamboo Organization is there, headquarters in Belgium. Next is World Water Monitoring Day 2021, again celebrated on 18th of September. It is to create awareness about the importance of water conservation across the globe, and it is an international educational program also that aims to educate and involve people across the globe in protecting the world's water resources. So just remember, it is 18th of September. Next, Meghalaya launched e-governance service, and this service is basically known as MEG. MEG stands for Meghalaya. EA stands for Enterprise Architecture. So Meghalaya launched Make Enterprise Architecture. So Meghalaya is the first state to implement IND-EA. IND-EA is India's initiative, as MEG-EA is Meghalaya's initiative for the digital governance. So remember, IND-EA is an initiative of the government of India to promote digital governance in the country and expedite the delivery services system in the government services. And similar kind of services is basically started by MEG-EA. That's why Meghalaya is the first state to implement this services, MEG-EA, and promote the digital governance. It is to transform traditional service delivery process into a digital service system. And remember about Meghalaya. Meghalaya's capital is Shillong, and the governor is Satyapal Malik, and chief minister is Konark Sangma. Moving to next, and you can also see here Konark K. Sangma and Ashwini Vaishnaw both launched this initiative, which is known as MEG-EA. It is Meghalaya Enterprise Architecture, and it is to transform traditional service delivery process into the digital service system. So now we are moving to the question of the day. 18th September 2021 question was, in the post-independence period, economic reforms were first introduced in India under. So only one time Indian economic reforms were done on a larger scale, that was in 1991 under the PV Narasimha Rao government. PV Narasimha Rao government, when PV Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister and Manmohan Singh was the Finance Minister. And these are known as LPG reform, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. And these reforms were also known as LPG reforms, that is liberalization, privatization and the globalization. So answer of this question is 1, PV Narasimha Rao government in 1990 or 1991. So moving to question of the day, what is the question? The term mixed economy denotes. So what is the meaning of this mixed economy? So India is basically not a socialist economy, not a capitalist economy. So you have to remember India is a mixed economy. What is the meaning of this mixed economy? So read these options carefully and you have to answer me only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer. So please like this video, share this video as maximum as possible and subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. And you can also press this bell button and join a Telegram group from the description box so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is a Fairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. And don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy like this smiley. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.